Oscar-winning director Ron Howard has put his lens on the drama in 13 Lives.
Ron Howard is a master storyteller who has worked in many genres. He might be about to take on his biggest task yet by going into the world of horror. Howard is known for writing emotionally gripping plays and exciting adventures. His move into horror makes us wonder how his genius would change the genre. Fans are full of guesses and can't wait to see if this sudden turn will change his reputation and captivate people in a whole new way. Could this be his next great work? Ron Howard's journey. One of the most interesting stories in the entertainment business is Ron Howard's rise to fame. His first role was as a kid star on The Andy Griffith Show as the sweet Opie Taylor. Because of his cute smile, he became well known in homes very quickly. People really liked him as Sheriff Andy Taylor's young son, and his work on the show made him famous in the history of TV. After that, Howard got even more famous when he played Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. Richie, the nice, all-American boy that everyone liked, helped the show become a big hit in the 1970s and early 1980s. He got along so well with actors like Henry Winkler, who played the old Fonzie, that the show became a huge hit. Howard had bigger plans, but it looked like everyone would only remember him as the TV star he was now. Howard then became a director, which is something that not many actors do. Howard showed that he had the skills and vision to be a good director, even though it was hard for him to switch from acting to this role. It was a big hit at the box office, and the story is about a guy who falls in love with a fish. It was his very first big hit as a director. He didn't give up, though. Howard's career took off with movies like Apollo 13, which is based on a true story of an exciting but failed space mission, and A Beautiful Mind, which wasn't about a scientist but about his life, and got Howard the Academy Award for Best Director. Besides making short films, he also directed the well-known Star Wars movie Solo, a Star Wars story. Howard's main job is to tell stories that people who watch a lot of different types of shows can relate to and find interesting. People look up to him as a director because he can tell great stories, whether he's making a cute comedy, a historical drama, or a space adventure. He worked hard and wasn't afraid to try new things. He went from being a young actor to a famous and recognized director. The Happy Days reunion shows how memories and stories can bring people of all ages together in happiness. The Happy Days reunion. When Ron Howard and Henry Winkler got back together to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Happy Days, it was a big treat at the 2024 Emmy Awards. People were thrilled to see these two stars together again on the show that won over millions of fans. They stood on a remade set of Arnold's Drive-In, a beloved location from the show, and talked about their time on one of the most famous TV shows of all time. This event not only honored memories, but also a show that changed American pop culture. There were a lot of people who grew up in the 1970s and 1980s who watched Happy Days all the time. For a whole generation, it was a cultural landmark because it showed how pure small-town life could be and how exciting it is to make friends and date as a teenager. Fans were thrilled to see Howard and Winkler back together, and soon there were a lot of comments on social media about their return. People thanked the show for making their lives more enjoyable and talked about their favorite scenes. The event got a lot of attention from the media, which emphasized how Happy Days had forever changed the history of TV. Besides the memories, the reunion made it clear how Happy Days changed the way TV stories were told. On the other hand, it made room for sitcoms about real family life, friendship, and silly experiences for kids. A lot of the cast members got their start on the show, including Ron Howard, who went on to become one of the most famous directors in Hollywood. This Happy Days reunion was more than just a trip down memory lane. It was a lesson of how TV can bring people together, make memories that last a lifetime, and inspire the next generation. New projects that define his vision. Ron Howard keeps pushing the limits of storytelling with amazing new projects that show off his unique style. One important work is the documentary Jim Henson Idea Man, which tells the whole story of the Muppets genius's life and effects. It was made with Howard's help and got good reviews at the Cannes Film Festival. People liked how accurately the movie showed Henson's never-ending creativity and ability to change the entertainment industry. Fans of Henson and Howard should definitely watch the video because it shows how creatively intense he was. The Shrinking of Treehorn is Howard's first animated movie. This was his first attempt at making an animated work, and it had both a funny and interesting plot. But things went wrong when Netflix bought Animal Logic, the animation company that was making the movie. Reports say the purchase could be put on hold or even canceled, which makes the project seem less likely to work. Even with this loss, Howard's desire to explore other forms of media shows how determined he is to keep growing as a director. Howard showed Eden at the Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF, and fans were blown away by how emotionally rich the movie was. The screening then suddenly changed when a medical emergency in the audience happened. The event showed how unpredictable live openings can be, but it wasn't the main focus of the movie's themes of connection and endurance. Critics liked Eden because it connected with its audience and told a serious story. These movies, which range from moving documentaries to cartoon adventures and dramatic plays, show how Howard can work with a lot of different types of movies and topics. His artistic work shows that he is still eager to push new boundaries and tell great stories, even after decades with the company. Turning 70 with grace. Ron Howard celebrated his 70th birthday in the quiet way he always does. It's a big deal that should be cherished. On his birthday, he took a quiet walk with his wife Cheryl in the morning and thought about the life and memory they have built together. This short but important event showed Howard's balanced approach to life, which he has kept even after decades of fame and success. Howard's trip over the past 7 decades is really amazing. From his early days as a famous child actor on The Andy Griffith Show to becoming one of the most admired directors in Hollywood, his career shows how hard he worked, how enthusiastic he was, and how flexible he was. Howard thanked God for giving him many chances and for his family, friends, and co-workers who had been with him on his amazing journey and had always been there for him. Howard had one of the most impressive lives because he was able to balance family and fame, which is hard for famous people to do in real life. Even though his work is well known and puts a lot of pressure on him, he has always put his wife and children first. He and Cheryl have been married for more than 45 years and have a strong, long-lasting relationship based on respect and shared values. These two people have raised 4 kids together, teaching them the importance of being humble, kind, and true to oneself. Howard's focus on his family has also affected his work life. He is always interested in projects that make him feel strong emotions and look into themes of connection, resilience, and the human spirit. His focus on sincerity and telling stories with meaning has won him fans all over the world and sets his work apart in a very crowded field. Films like Apollo 13 and A Beautiful Mind reflect these ideas and tell stories that are both inspiring and uplifting. As much as it was a time to think, turning 70s was a celebration of a life full of meaning, love, and talent. Howard's milestone reminds him of how important it is to be grateful, persistent, and stay close to what's important. It's impressive that he can balance his personal and work life so well. It shows how closely success and happiness go together when they are built on love and commitment. From honoring legends to crafting timeless stories, Ron Howard proves that respect for the past shapes a brighter future. Honoring the past. Ron Howard has always had a lot of respect for people who have made the entertainment business what it is today. His latest awards to icons show how much he values them. One of the most moving tributes he paid was to the late David Lynch, a creative director known for telling unique and strange stories. Lynch has inspired generations of filmmakers with his ability to break the rules and make truly unique movies. When Howard paid tribute to Lynch, he did more than just show respect. He also recognized the big impact that strong creative expression can have on narrative art. Howard also paid another important tribute to Jim Henson in his documentary Jim Henson Idea Man, which looked at the life and work of the famous Muppet director. The movie gives us a close look at how creative Henson was and how much he loved mixing magic with emotions. Howard said that Henson always acted like time was running out. which led to his creative work and never-ending search for new ideas. The documentary shows Henson's genius and passion by showing how he could involve people of all ages in a way that no one else could. Both monuments talk about Howard's close ties to pioneers like Lynch and Henson. Howard has spent his whole career pushing the limits and telling important stories that people of all ages can relate to. He respects their work, which shows that he knows how creativity can change things and how brave it takes to go against custom. Howard stresses how important it is to honor and protect the legacies of those who have shaped the field through his words and actions. Howard makes sure that the work of visionaries like Lynch and Henson will continue to inspire people in the future by recognizing their wins. His work not only connects people to these strong characters, but it also shows how stories have always been able to inspire, bind, and permanently change the world. Howard's aspirations in horror. Ron Howard has had a great career and has done great work in many genres. However, he hasn't done much work in the horror field. He's become more interested in the genre lately, seeing it as both a unique task and an interesting opportunity. For a director known for making heartfelt plays, thrilling adventures, and unique stories, going into horror would be a risky and interesting move that could help him leave a bigger mark on the world of art. Howard thinks that horror is a genre that needs both truth and creativity. It's not just about jump scares or blood. It's also about making a setting that makes you feel tense and anxious while still telling an interesting story. He is interested in how hard it is to emotionally and psychologically grab people to make stories that stick with them. Howard sees fear as a way to improve his storytelling skills and make stories that are gripping and powerful for people who haven't been through what he has. A lot of people are already guessing what a Ron Howard horror movie might look like. It's possible that he would use character-driven drama in horror movies, like he did in movies like Apollo 13 and The Da Vinci Code, where tension and high stakes are very important. He might have given his horror movie an edge by mixing emotional depth with explosive intensity by showing how hard life can be for people in strange situations. Fans are interested in how Howard will tackle this new task, no matter if he writes a psychological thriller, a magical story, or a sci-fi horror. Howard's reputation for artistic risk-taking would be strengthened by his move into horror, which would also show how flexible he is as a director. He has always changed over time, trying out new styles and going beyond the limits of his job. Taking a turn toward horror would show that he was willing to step out of his comfort zone and try new things, which would add to his image as one of Hollywood's most exciting directors. Challenges and setbacks. Even experienced directors like Ron Howard still have to deal with the problems and failures of the unstable entertainment business. Howard has had a long and successful career. He is always persistent and creative, which are skills that are in high demand right now because the future of his cartoon project, The Shrinking of Treehorn, is uncertain. Howard's first cartoon movie, the movie tried to be fun and interesting at the same time so that people of all ages could enjoy it. But when Netflix bought Animal Logic, the cartoon company that made the movie, a big problem came up with the project. After this purchase, the company's goals changed, and fans began to wonder if The Shrinking of Treehorn would ever see the light of day. This setback makes us think very strongly about the bigger problems creative people face in today's culture scene, which changes so quickly. Since streaming services like Netflix came out, the business has changed by giving it new opportunities and new obstacles. Mergers, purchases, and changes in what the market wants can stop even the most exciting projects in their tracks. Howard has long been praised for his ability to weave compelling stories across multiple genres. However, the challenges of adjusting to this new era show how hard it is to balance artistic vision with the realities of the business. There is a lot of uncertainty in his life, even though he has been an expert for decades. This is because of business choices and market forces. But Howard's career has been marked by his ability to change and do well when things get tough. Howard has always been different, from his days as a child player on The Andy Griffith Show to his rise to become one of Hollywood's most renowned directors. Everything that has gone wrong with him has been an opportunity to grow and has pushed him to explore new creative areas. It was hard for Howard to switch from playing to directing, But he did great and made movies like Apollo 13 and A Beautiful Mind that got good reviews. These movies showed how well he can tell tough stories in a way that is both accurate and emotional. These are skills that have made him very popular in Hollywood. The uncertainty over the shrinking of Treehorn is another time in Howard's work when being strong and determined are needed. The movie's delay or possible cancellation is clearly upsetting, but it also makes us think of Howard's ability to find new ways to move forward. Being willing to accept change and push himself has been a hallmark of his career. Howard has shown that problems can be turned into opportunities for even greater success, whether it's finding a new subject, getting used to new technology, or getting past problems in the industry. This problem also shows how important it is for artists to be able to change to a field that is always changing. Howard's way of telling stories has always been built on adaptation, which means he is always looking for ways to connect with his audiences, whether he is making historical dramas, thrillers, or even animated shows. The fact that the shrinking of Treehorn is taking longer than planned doesn't make him less determined to write interesting stories. Instead, it makes the point that real creativity can happen even when things are hard. Ron Howard's resilience shines as he navigates industry hurdles. Could this be the secret behind his enduring influence? Ron Howard's enduring influence. Without a doubt, Ron Howard has an impact on the entertainment business. Howard had a big impact on culture from his early days as Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show to his rise to become one of Hollywood's most prestigious directors. His work speaks to people of all ages because it deals with universal problems and tells stories that never get old. Some of the best years of TV were formed by Howard's roles on The Andy Griffith Show and Happy Days. These shows captivated millions of people and made legendary characters and stories that are still told today. Howard became better known as a director who made movies that were both beautiful to look at and deeply moving to watch. His movies like Apollo 13, A Beautiful Mind, and Frost Nixon show that he can tell hard stories in a way that keeps people interested. Howard sets himself apart by stressing how important it is to write stories that everyone can relate to. Howard's movies always show how strong, connected, and determined people are, whether they're about the problems a great mathematician faces in A Beautiful Mind or how the men need to work together to get home in Apollo 13. His focus on deep feelings makes sure that his work is still interesting to people of all ages. Howard's lasting memory includes more than just his stories. He also had a big impact on the movie business by mentoring and inspiring people. Through his production company, Imagine Entertainment, Howard has helped bring new ideas to the big screen and helped create new talent. Because he pushed many directors to follow their artistic dreams, they learned how important it is to work hard and be flexible. Howard's work also shows how important it is to stay relevant in a field that is always changing. Howard keeps switching from making digital movies to looking into other types of movies, like cartoons and maybe even horror. He has done well over many decades of changing styles because he can adapt to new situations without giving up his core beliefs. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.